Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Well everybody, it's time for me to look at another Chinese related movie in order to celebrate the Lunar New Year again. Now, so far, I've looked at a few films like Over the Moon, the first Ranma 1/2 movie, Wish Dragon, Pixar's Turning Red, DreamWorks' Abominable, the 10th Swan Princess movie, the Mulan movies, the MCU's Shang-Chi movie, the Minions sequel, the Rock Dog trilogy, even the Kung Fu Panda trilogy, which is set to become a quadrilogy next month. And I must confess, the main reason I support China is because I make it my job as Eagle Scout of Troop 604 to support special people. Anyway, for the film I decided to look at today, well, believe it or not, this one is also pretty special to me. Why, you ask? Well, let's take a look and find out. Released to Paramount Plus on February 2nd, 2024, the movie is The Tiger's Apprentice. Now, on for the plot of the movie. The story centers on Tom, a normal boy from San Francisco's Chinatown, who discovers that he is part of a long lineage of magical protectors known as the Zodiac Guardians, and his eccentric grandmother turns out to be the protector of the Phoenix Egg. When his grandmother sadly perishes in battle and is spirited away in a ghost cart, Tom must apprentice with an unlikely mentor named Mr. Hu to learn ancient magic and become the egg's new protector. They team up with an unlikely band of exotic creatures, each representing a different side of the Chinese zodiac, who can morph into human form while retaining their innate animal characteristics. So, what do I think of this movie? Well, to be quite honest, the film was a bit cliched and some parts were predictable and mediocre, but overall, it was still an awesome animated film to watch. And to further explain why I like the movie, let's head over to Mustang Notes. In October 2008, Cartoon Network announced a television film adaptation of Lawrence Yep's 2003 novel, The Tiger's Apprentice, which was set to premiere on the network in 2010. The film would have been a live-action / CG hybrid, with David McGee penning the screenplay and James Stards executive producing. Sadly, the project never came to fruition. In March 2019, Paramount Pictures announced an animated adaptation of the novel set to be theatrically released in February 2022. In June later that year, Paramount Animation announced that Carlos Bena would direct the movie, with McGee and Harry Cripes writing the screenplay, Starts producing, and Roman Hoy and Kane Lee executive producing. In July 2020, the film was delayed until February 2023 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Makes me glad the virus and their source is dead. In January 2022, it was revealed that Hui would instead direct the movie, with Paul Waitling and Dong Duk Jun co-directing, with Bob Persichetti producing, along with Bina still attached as executive producer. Also to note, because of the delayed schedule, the film was sadly removed from Paramount's theatrical release schedule and was moved to a streaming release on Paramount Plus on February 2nd, 2024 instead. Now, since I don't have Paramount Plus yet, the only way I could watch this movie was through Kim Cartoon. The studio responsible for the computer animation in the movie was Micros Animation, whom I previously talked about in my blog of Orion and the Dark Lust episode. And in my opinion, this animation is surprisingly good. It almost reminds me of the animation from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which I'm saving for a March blog. Anyway, the things that I like regarding this movie are the Zodiac Guardians, which is a group of ancient warriors who each have the power to shapeshift into certain animals in the Chinese zodiac signs, like a tiger, a pig, a rabbit, a goat, a dog, an ox, a rat, a rooster, a dragon, a snake, a monkey, and my favorite, a horse. Plus, it's their duty to protect the mystical Phoenix Stone, which is the source of all magic in the universe. To me, these Guardian Warriors all have amazing abilities, and I think the fight scenes are really badass and hardcore at times, especially during the opening prologue in 2009 Hong Kong. Plus, I really love how the animators depicted the film's main setting in 2024 San Francisco. Another thing that I like regarding this movie is that it features a certain friend of mine from Musical Theater Village. His name is Ryan Christopher Lee, who in this movie voices as the bully Liam, who picks on Tom at the beginning of the movie. Now, it's been a really long time since Ryan and I got to perform together in such beloved stage musicals like Oklahoma, The Wizard of Oz, Alice One Cat's Tale, Hello Dolly, Bye Bye Birdie, and more. And I also hear he's been pretty busy lately. For example, not only has Ryan been directing PowerPoint and Vital Venue, but he's also been part of several TV shows like Hawthorne on TNT, Special Agent Oso and I Didn't Do It on the Disney Channel, and Wendell and Vinny on Nickelodeon. As for my thoughts on his role as Liam, well, like most high school bullies in the media, he's not very likable due to him beating up Tom, treating him like an outcast, and calling his grandmother a witch. But still, Ryan does an excellent voice performance. And that's all I got for Mustang notes. So, let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought him to life. Our main hero, Tom Lee, is voiced by Brandon Sue Hu, who I remember as Beast Boy from the DC animated universe. Tom is a Chinese-American teenager who discovers that he's a descendant of the magical Zodiac Guardians. To me, Tom starts out as a high school outcast, and he can be a bit shy, insecure, timid, and risky at times, but while training with the Guardians in Chinatown, he learns about how to control his abilities and his duty to keep the Phoenix Stone out of the wrong hands. His mentor, Mr. Hu, is voiced by Henry Golding, whom was in Crazy Rich Asians, Last Christmas, and Star Wars Visions. Ever since the battle in Hong Kong, Hu has become the owner of a local Chinatown antique shop, and he makes it his duty to protect the Guardians of the Phoenix Stone with his powerful roar. To me, Hu is not only badass, but he's also gruff, short-tempered, stubborn, and prideful, and I think he's a pretty great teacher while trying to show Tom the ways of the Zodiac Guardians. Next we have Tom's grandma, Mrs. Lee, voiced by Kang Hua Tan. This character has been raising Tom ever since he was a baby, and to me, Mrs. Lee seems like a strong, brave, and protective person. Plus, she's very friendly when she meets Rav, more on her later, and she can be a bit eccentric due to her superstitions and beliefs. Plus, I found it very shocking when she sacrificed part of her soul to save Hu during the Hong Kong fight. Next we come to Tom's love interest, Rav, voiced by Leah Lewis, who previously voiced Ember in Pixar's Elemental. Rav is a San Francisco teenager who has been to several foster homes and schools her whole life. To me, Rav is not only street smart, but she's also a really sweet and cool girl. Plus, I like that she's a musician and a skateboarder, and while she bonds with Tom, little does she know that their new friendship might put him in danger. As for the other characters, we have Minstrel, voiced by two-time Golden Globe Award winner Sandra Oh, whom was in Mulan 2, the 13th Land Before Time movie, Over the Moon, Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon, and Pixar's Turning Red. To me, Minstrel has got to be my absolute favorite character in this movie. Not only because this year is the year of the dragon, but it's because she stands tall when she's not in her flying form, and she gives Mr. Who a run for his money as the most authoritative Zodiac warrior ever. Plus, I find her to be a very soft-hearted person who lets you cry on her shoulder if you needed to. We also have Naomi, the monkey guardian, voiced by Shelley Cola. Naomi has the power to shrink herself and others into miniature versions of themselves. Plus, I find her to be a very humorous prankster. Next we have Sydney, the rat guardian, voiced by Bowen Yang, whom was in The Lost City, the animated Night at the Museum sequel, The Monkey King, and he'll be in the Garfield movie this summer and Wicked this November. Sydney is a clever and cunning thief whose light touch makes him perfect at stealing treasured objects. He also tends to put this skill towards stealing food, and his size also helps him get into and out of tough situations. Plus, I just love that scene where Sydney introduces the Zodiac Guardians in the style of a sports announcer. Last but not least, we come to the main villain, Lou, voiced by Michelle Yeoh, whom was in the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The School for Good and Evil, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Plus, she'll be Madame Morrible in Wicked this November and in James Cameron's Avatar 3 next year. Now, Lou is a cold, cruel, manipulative, and power-hungry sorceress who has been hunting the Zodiac Guardians for centuries using her powerful dark magic and her magical umbrella. Her evil plan is to steal the Phoenix Stone in order to destroy the world and take all the chi for herself. Other voice actors in the film include Poppy Loy, Patrick Gallagher, Diana Lee Insonato, Greta Lee, Joe Kay, Deborah S. Craig, and Lucy Liu. And now for my final words. Overall, The Tiger's Apprentice is a pretty good animated film. However, like Orion and the Dark, I can't consider it as one of the best animated films of 2024 yet, since, well, we just got started. Still, the animation is great, the setting in San Francisco is neat, the fight scenes are epic and hardcore, and I think the Zodiac Warriors are awesome characters. Plus, the main character Tom is sympathetic, and I think he has the potential to become a great Zodiac Guardian. His love interest Rav is a nice person, and I think she and Tom make a great couple together. The main villain Lou is dark, powerful, and manipulative, and Michelle Yeoh's voice performance is making me really excited for the Wicked movie this November. Lastly, while my friend Ryan Christopher Lee didn't have a big role in this, I still think he did a great job voice acting as Liam. Also, I do hope he gets more amazing film roles in his acting career, and I hope he can perform with us at Musical Theater Village again really soon. However, this film does have a couple flaws. For example, the film is a bit rushed, and one of the soundtrack choices wasn't really to my liking. Still, I think you folks should give this movie a watch if you have Paramount Plus, and I really hope it gets a physical home media release soon. As for my rating, I'll give it an 84% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for another Chinese-related movie, Mustang Power.